Alright, I would like to talk quickly about the hazards of buying used video games. Now, before anybody gets their panties in a twist, I want to point out that at no point am I going to say that you should not buy used games. Yes, they are a very economical choice, especially when all of us are flat butt busted broke. It's a pretty good idea sometimes to buy a used game. You get the same fucking thing for a lot cheaper price, and usually you get a 1-year fucking warranty on it if you go to the right place and pay an extra $1. And they usually won't give you that kind of warranty on new games. It's kind of weird. You can get Game Guard at some places, but anyway, that's beside the point. There are a few points, though, that I would like to bring up to you that you may not have thought of. Now, if anybody noticed, in the past few years, video game prices have remained somewhat steadily, but on the average, most of the things associated with gaming start creeping up in price little by little over the years. And there are actually quite a few reasons for this. And one of the main reasons is that, did you know that 42% of the revenue gained in the video gaming industry from the sales of video games, 42% of that across the board comes from the sale of used video games? This is a statistic that I got from reading an article that was linked on Yahoo News. So that's not just some number I made up. The article exists on Yahoo News in their gaming section. You can check it out. You can find it. Because actually that was the article that kind of inspired me to want to share this information with you. So this isn't anything that I've made up or created. This is mostly information that I've gleaned from reading this article and a few others. But anyway, since 42% of this income that's made does not go to the publishers or video game creators, they're actually trying to find other ways to recuperate that loss. And they're actually getting kind of creative with it, and in some instances they're making it difficult to even make selling used copies of these games profitable by limiting your ability to use certain parts of the game if it's bought used, by giving you one-time download codes with the game and whatnot. And there's actually a few examples that this article cites. Some of them actually kind of bothered me a little bit. There's like one example of the one-time bonus codes. If you buy the game new, then sure, the content is free. But if you buy the game used and you don't have the one-time use download code, then you actually have to cough up sometimes up to $10 to $15 to get this content in the game, which can actually make it more expensive in the long run to buy it used and get access to everything than to just go ahead and buy it new. And they cite Mass Effect 2 actually as an example for this. Apparently there's some content that they actually have to pay $15 to get it if you don't have the download code. And then there's actually another one that kind of disturbed me, that there's a requiring registration for multiplayer modes is something that they do, where it's if you buy the game new, it's free, but if you want to do it with a used copy of the game, you have to pay, I think, $9 or so to do that. And they cite the example of SOCOM Fireteam Bravo 3 for doing that. And then in the case of PC games, like the popular 2008 game Spore, if you try to buy a used copy of Spore and you don't have the original user account and password that was created when that game was first used and registered, you can't even play the game. Can't be done. Well, I'm PC gaming, so I imagine that somebody out there has found a way to hack it by now. But the point basically is the more used games we buy, it seems, this article is stating that the trend will be the more we can expect to have to pay for additional content that is downloadable, because it's the only way that the publishers can think of to recuperate the money that they're not making from the used game sales. So, once again, I'm not going to say don't buy used games. I buy used games. But the food for thought basically is that perhaps you might want to think about how many used games you buy versus buying new games, because if we all sit here and buy nothing but used games, that percentage will go from 42 to a lot higher, and then all of a sudden we'll find ourselves only getting half a game for $60 and having to use our free download code to get the rest. But if you buy the game used, you won't be able to get it at all, or some shit. I don't know. It just seems something that we might want to be aware of. In the ultimate alarmist point of view, I guess you could say that the end-all, be-all of holy shits in the situation would be that eventually, if the publishers see that this percentage goes from 42 to 52 to 62% of income from games coming from used copies, I'm pretty sure at that point you can probably see the price of a video game go from $60 to $65 or something like that. So that's the ultimate alarmist end, would be that video game prices go up. But I think we're probably still a little bit off from that if we just make sure that every now and again we buy a brand new game. I think we'll be alright. Peace.